get started. Board of Health, October 8th, 2024. It is 6:01. Calling the meeting to order. Tonight we have Gary Magnuson from CMG, Jim Philbrook, Steve Sveska, myself, Matt Gagnet. First order of business is the acceptance of prior meeting minutes for September 10th. I have read them, and Simon, I don't know if Steve, if you had a chance to read
I
it.
just can't go over it.
Okay. Matt, I don't know if you've had a chance.
Through the chair, I make a motion that we accept the minutes of September 10th, 2024.
I have a second.
Aye. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next on the agenda, we have some business that was not going to be on here. First it was, and it wasn't, but we're trying to get this resolved. It is a variance for 234A Partridge Hill Road. And Shannon, if you want to come on up here and look at this. What service, huh?
Yeah.
Jim, Jim, do you want to go ahead and give a little background here, or I think it's you that would have the most information?
Just trying to see if,
I think you were gonna call him the engineer.
I texted him at 11:32, and I talked to him on the phone. I don't know where he is.
Okay.
Oh,
Want to call him?
Yeah, I think he was expecting your call.
No, we're talking about Tom Purcell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're talking about the engineer.
Yeah, your engineer, his number's in there. I told him if you needed to, the board wanted to speak to him. He's not feeling well, so he didn't want to come in. He was coughing like crazy. I said I'd call him on the phone, but that's up to you, Mr. Chairman, if you need him. Do you want me to call Tom and ask him if he's still coming?
Probably,
Okay.
just because he's our representative, our subject matter expert. He knows a little more than I do about
Is
septic
that the
design.
file right there?
Yes, oh yes, I'm sorry, we do have a file.
Yes.
Yeah, I slept on I'm a side sleeper. Oh, I'm probably saying too much for the camera.
We don't need to know what you were wearing.
Yeah. So Shannon, you're the owner of the property where this system is going to be
Yes.
installed.
Chairman, Tom forgot to check he didn't check his text. So
Okay.
he says he's on his way.
Okay. Did he say how long it would take?
10 minutes.
Okay.
If he takes the other vehicle, 5.
Burning rubber the
But
whole
he has a
way.
truck now, I think.
Okay.
I say we move that a little bit back until.
Sure,
Tom gets
yeah,
here.
there's no sense in, unless you want to review any of this beforehand. No? Okay, sorry Shannon.
No, that's
We'll
okay.
go ahead and, don't go anywhere.
Yep.
Why don't we move on to old business, Flint Road landfill, Gary?
Sure. So kind of a quick update, thanks for the opportunity to come in and talk to you guys again. As you know, I try not to come in unless there's anything new. Yet there's nothing new, but there is some updates that I think are relevant. Since I was here in August, the saga of continuing to test homes continues. We haven't added too many. We are getting to the point where, on Burlingame Road, where the 500-foot radius shouldn't be extended any longer because we're to the lot. The lots are pretty far apart now. There's no change in any of the data that we're collecting. We're now up to 62 addresses. We are now at the point where we can start to cut some of them back to semi-annual or annual. We're gonna ask DEP for that. We are having access agreements on a few properties. Right now, there's 9 of them that are either late or we're not getting responses from. Don't need your help yet. Most people have been good.
Can I cut in, John?
Yes, go ahead.
You said now we're up to 62. Is that 62 residents on bottled water?
No, I'm sorry. 62 homes being tested. I don't have the bottled water number with me. I didn't calculate it. I want to say it is 30,
34, I think.
34.
About half
Yeah.
ish.
Yes. 4 homes, 3 homes have systems. 1 home requires a system. Last I was here in August, we talked about that one. That's 104 Dresser Hill Road. I had the inspection with the homeowner and the contractor. Homeowner has to move some benches and things in the basement to make access for the tanks. Communicated with him again today. He's working on that, so we're ready to install. The system's ready to roll. We'll get it installed. DEP wants them installed immediately, but obviously the homeowner's prerogative to get things ready. I told him, he said, well, can we install it here kind of in the middle of the room? And I said, well, it's going to be here for a long time. Let's put it in the right spot. So
Yeah.
he's working on that. So there'll be 4 homes with systems. They're all working well. The residents have been really good. I have one of my staff now, Samantha's doing most of the testing. She's been reaching out to everybody. People have been good. There's been no complaints, no concerns, I know Jim's kind of getting the brunt of the concerns, which are, I don't have enough water, I have too much water, I need more water, my containers are too big, my containers are too small, the water company didn't deliver enough, the water company delivered too much.
Usually it's the water company ran out of water.
Yeah. So Jim's dealing with those, or Jim's staff is, God bless, I'm glad we're not doing that. So that's that aspect. We did receive, DEP reviewed the capping plan, and they don't send a nice letter that says, hey, let's make a couple of changes, or they don't have a meeting. They send what's called a notice of technical deficiency, which sounds worse than it actually is, but it says, hey, can we do this different, or can we do this? Because the permit application is hundreds of pages with lots of plans. DEP has a 5-page document here with some questions, 4 pages with some things they want us to change. Not a big deal. I went over it with Bruce Haskell. He and I are in agreement that most of these things are pretty minor. Bruce and I and Jim have been working to set up a meeting with Andrew to go over all of these issues before we submit a response. We have 180 days to submit that response. Bruce has something drafted up. He and I have worked on it. I will bring one point to the board's attention here, because I think it's the most relevant one, and it's the one that Jim and I want to talk with Andrew about. So in our documentation, there's a possibility that a small amount of landfill debris may extend onto the neighbor's property, the Jackson's property, which abut. And when I say a small amount, we did test pits with DEP there with us. It's like the border is where John is, and there might be a little trash to here. And we did a test pit, and it's at the surface. It's not 7 feet deep here. So when you do a plan to DEP, you tell them that we're going to secure the edges, we're going to inspect everything. If there's any debris, we'll pull it back, put it onto our landfill, and correct it, take care of it. That's kind of normal protocol. The way this one is potentially going to be handled is they want the homeowner to sign the permit along with the town, saying that they own part of the landfill. We're not going to do that. So we're working with DEP to talk about that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty extreme.
It's the way the regulation reads. The
Oh.
regulation reads, if you have a landfill, but the town of Charlton has a landfill,
Right.
and if something rolled off the back of the hill and there's a tire sitting on their property, that's not a landfill.
No.
That's a tire sitting in their property. So we're going to take care of that, but that's one of the concerns. So we're going to work that out with Bruce, and then we'll work it out with DEP, and we'll kind of get those issues resolved. The other things are, there are telephone poles along Flint Road, which are in the landfill proper, in the landfill debris. So Bruce has designed a plan on how we're going to cap around those and seal those in. They just want us to interface with the power company a little bit, so they have an understanding of if they ever replace those poles or something. Not a big deal.
The
Kinda
poles
typical.
can last, what, 50 to 80 years or more, probably?
Right. Worst case, they might want to we can work with the power company, maybe those poles get replaced before we do the work, so they've got a longer lifespan. We'll work on that. It was a point that came up. Bruce has a detail on how to cap the landfill around those. It's not a big deal, but it's, again, another issue that DEP wants a little more clarity on. So that'll get addressed. The next sampling event of the landfills is Q4. So October, November, December, we normally do it in December. So we're probably gonna hold off until late November or December to do that, so that we can keep a consistent 6-month trend. Associated with that one, we're gonna do some more extensive surface water testing to try to evaluate the possible other sources of PFAS in the surface water coming across Flint Road. So as I told you guys before, there's PFAS coming across the little stream, upgrading of your landfill from somebody else, well, from somewhere else. So we're gonna, when we do our surface water testing for the standard landfill sampling, we'll add in some more points to try to better understand that. And that all ties back to trying to better understand the contamination of the landfill, to try to convince DEP that we can stop extending the 500-foot radius. So it all ties together. That's the summary of the landfill as I know it right now. Do you guys have any questions?
We had talked about, you'd said that we talked about sampling wells, and you had a means of.
Going down the well.
Right. Have
Yeah.
you done any of that?
We haven't. We had talked about possibly doing Jim, you and I talked about possibly doing the one at
The animal shelter.
15.
15?
15 is the animal shelter.
Yeah.
But no, we haven't tried that yet. I can put that on the schedule to try that the next time we do 15, because I think that's probably the best one because you guys own it. I really don't want to get into somebody opening a well. I mean, we can chlorinate it, but it's no big deal. It's probably better to do that. Let me just see when that one's up to be sampled.
Well, one of those new houses on the other side of the street, you said had a pretty high number too.
There-
Probably be worth trying to
Yeah, there's a couple homes right there.
give one of those a try too, just for
Yeah,
our own, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could probably do, they're both up in November, so I could maybe do one of the ones on Old Town and from the towns. Yeah, the town wasn't that high, but the ones across the street are a little higher.
Well, I think it's gonna tell us something. It's either gonna tell us, yeah, it's, you know what I mean?
We can sort of, yeah, so why don't I add, we'll add 15, Old Town Road, and another one. And we'll do the downhole and we'll do the purge test, the standard test.
Right.
See if there's a difference. It's not that much labor or effort to do it. We can at
Right.
least have try to answer your question.
I think
don't
it's,
know what it's gonna mean, but we'll have some
well,
information.
it might mean a lot. It might not, it might not. I mean, it might be,
Yeah,
you might get the same readings.
yeah, well, we'll try it.
But-
If you guys want it, we'll try it. It's not a big deal.
Gary, when you were talking about the telephone pole issue, how many poles are you talking? Like 3, 2, 4, 5, 3?
They crossed the road there. I apologize, I don't have the plan with me.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's a few.
Just a few.
It's not 10.
Right.
Because there's 1,400 feet of frontage there. So most of them are on the other side, but there are a couple.
Aren't they 75 feet apart?
No,
About
it's more
100.
than that.
We use a number of about 100. It's generally about 100.
No, generally. they're-
Generally. So, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal at all because we're not the first one to deal with this. Bruce has dealt with it on other ones.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, their comments are pretty minor considering they had 400 pages to review. And they were submitted to us they had whatever, 180 or 70, however many days they generally submit them on the last day. We clearly want to respond to them well before the last day.
And you said we have 100, or you? Or
We have 180 days to
180
respond.
days.
We're not taking 180
No.
days. No. These are relatively small. Again, we wanted to get Andrew involved because of the signature issue that we spoke about earlier. So I just want to make sure that we're taking care of that correctly.
The title issue's all set? With the deed?
Yes, that got resolved. This line agreement has to get, we're waiting on this. I have it, but we just haven't recorded it with the registry.
Mm-hmm.
Waited to hear from the document. Now that we have this response, we can record that. I have the original. This is a copy, right?
You have the original.
Yeah.
Took that.
Yep, that's the copy. Yeah, so I think there's really not a lot of new news, but I did want to bring you up to speed.
Well, the filtration system
Yeah.
is, you know, another one going in, so.
Landfill mowing,
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I just went and looked at it.
because we may not see again until.
No, so
After the first
I've been
frost.
working with Bruce. As we know, last year, the year before, I think it was 2 years ago now, we asked him to start making repairs of the top of the berms where the damage was. DEP asked us to do that.
Mhm.
He didn't get to it 2 years ago. Last year it rained all summer, didn't get to it. This year he just did it, and I just inspected it. He did about 18 different spots out there. Some twice as long as this table, some the size of a chair. He did a nice job. He put topsoil down, put erosion fabric down, put more topsoil on top of it, and seeded it. It's only been about a week and a half, and this grass already growing an inch tall in some of it. So I'm hopeful. And these are areas that had exposed liner. So there was the actual liner, the black liner was sitting there. And I think what happened, well, I know what happened is one of the mowing companies we had didn't do a good job and scalped the top of that. And then they tried to fix it, but they only put a little tiny bit of topsoil, and with that black liner on there, and we didn't get any rain that summer, it just cooked it and it started to burn the top of the berms. Bruce is doing a really nice job of mowing the berms, doing them by hand, no equipment on them, so we're not getting any of that sloughing or any damage on top of the berms. So, and now that he just spent all this effort and says, I never want to push a wheelbarrow across those berms again, he'll even do less damage to the tops of the berms because it was a lot of work.
He was here today.
I did tell him I would inspect it, so, and I think I told him to give you a bill.
That's what he did, he brought a bill today.
So you have my, I'm happy with the work, so you have my approval to pay it, as long as you guys approve to pay it. And I think we had budgeted, 5,000 for that, and I think he said it was 2,600. I told him to charge time and materials.
So when Andrew, I think I already signed it.
Yeah.
And then we have another mowing in,
I told him, let's
Later
let that
this
grass
month?
grow a little bit more, because he mowed the flats, not the berms. It looks so much better. But yes, I told him, wait till the end of the month.
okay.
But the landfill looks really good now. The vegetation is strong and healthy, because it was not doing well in the last couple of years. It's doing a lot better.
Yeah.
And he did, his work areas cleaned up.
He did. I didn't walk through there quite often. It's, fire department did some stuff there too, but that's all cleaned up, so.
Yeah, so the place looks orderly and neat.
It does, the landfill looks,
Sorry about that.
looks well maintained.
It does look well.
How you doing?
maintained, yeah.
How you doing? Good.
So yeah, that's up with the mowing. That's really all I have for you at this point.
Any other questions from the board?
Just curious, but we had a spot check on DEP, they showed up unannounced and everybody had to get there right away. What was the end result with that? That was A-okay, no, nothing to report?
The only report out of that was
Scalping?
the scalping, which had been noted prior, and we had told them we were working on. That was it. That was it.
I think he was in the area that time, so that's what they do. They just, hey, we're here,
I mean, it's always a fire drill. I'm not around, or you're not around,
Yeah.
or
something. I think you had to go one year, many years ago, I think.
yeah.
You were around and you met him there, but they don't have much to complain about. It looks good there.
I remember when it was, the liner was installed, but it hadn't been covered,
Yep.
and we had heavy winds, and that thing was fluctuating 3 to 4 feet off the ground. it was blowing. We thought the thing was gonna end up in Southbridge. We all went down there with sandbags and laid hundreds of sandbags all over that line to keep it down before ultimately Jay Bates got in there and
Yeah, it's a $300,000 cover, you know?
So I can assure you that through this process, you won't be doing it. When we're capping 54, you can sit across the road and watch it. It'll be done correctly
It'll be done right.
and appropriately.
Do you remember that?
I do. That was a long time ago.
We were panicking. It was a bad storm, and that thing was just lifting right off. We thought it was going to just blow right off and just keep going. I mean, can you imagine?
No,
that
can't
would-
imagine.
Driving down the road, all of a sudden you look, the sky's black and
Here,
covered.
here comes a 7-acre something.
Yeah, can you imagine? That would do some serious damage.
Whatever. Yeah, that would have been horrible.
I don't even think the DPW, highway barn was there yet.
Oh, no.
No,
No, it
I don't
wasn't
think
been
it
there.
was.
No, that's not.
No. Anyways,
All right,
That's all I got.
good. Well, Gary, thank you. I don't know when our next meeting will be, but you can be in touch with Jim, unless you want to stick around.
No? Well, I mean, they'll stick around, but
Something
if you
you
don't
don't
need me, I'm not
No,
going
we
to.
do not need you,
All right.
but we'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, like I said, there's nothing.
I'll be in, when Andrew gets back, he
Yeah,
wants to meet.
You and I will communicate.
Yeah.
We'll take care of that. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for
Have a
coming.
good night.
You as well.
All right, now
Push
we'll
your phone.
revert back.
Gary.
Well, that would be a problem.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be a blessing. Thanks.
Back to 234A Partridge Hill Road. Shannon, if you want to come on up and have a seat.
Sure.
Tom, Matt, if you're cold, I can close that window. Right? You sure?
no, I'm not cold.
You are. You all set, Tom? The girls let her open the window, so.
It's okay, I leave my jacket on all the time. Make it quick, getaway.
All right, so this is a continuation from previous meetings that we've had with 234A Partridge Hill on the variance. Tom, do you want to give us an update since the last meeting?
The update is that there was a revised plan submitted by the engineer, and everything is fine on it. It's a beautiful plan, just what it's supposed to be.
It's in there, that folder, if you really want to show Tom.
The latest one.
Yeah, that one, in that. The one you have in your hand, it's in there.
It's in here.
I believe it's in there, yeah.
It's just what will fit there. The perfect plan.
So is there a lot of change since the last time, the last plan?
Well, we had significant, I might have had another 15 or 17, it was minor dribble, but typos, there were, he used the wrong calculations, for one thing. He sent the soils out for a lab test, and the lab test came back, it was a class 2 soil, but he used the wrong formula to determine
Jen,
the
did
size
you
of
want
the
your
leach.
engineer on the phone?
No,
Okay.
So,
unless you need him.
but everything's been corrected now.
Your call.
Okay.
We have a plan that's actually, it's a very busy plan, but it meets exactly what really needs to be done. It's protected, homeowner's gonna end up getting a good system that's gonna last a long time.
And the type of system, I think, Jim, you mentioned it, and what's the type of system that's going in?
Well, this system it's not the conventional septic system where the sewerage or the gray water goes into the ground and weeps and it mixes in with groundwater and dissipates that way. This is a system that's gonna work with evapotranspiration. What happens is you plant a lawn on it. The lawn stays green all year round. This system will be about 7 inches down, and what it does is it waters the lawn from the root side. I personally have designed 6 or 7 of these systems. For difficult or impossible sites, they work.
Part of the reason for that would be because of the ledge?
The ledge was the final straw.
Okay.
We just couldn't put a conventional septic system in. Title V says that you have to have 4 feet of permeable material.
Mhm.
It wasn't 4 feet, it was only 2 feet.
Okay.
So we had to come up with an alternative, and the engineer and I discussed it. And I presented this to him. I said, this is an option, take a look at it and see if it works for you. And it does, it works perfectly. We still have the offsets to the wells, but we can deal with that.
So
The shed's in the way, we're gonna move the shed.
Okay.
Um,
But with this new system, it's not gonna be any closer to a well or any other variance that,
No,
from the last meeting? Okay,
correct.
okay, good. That helps too.
Everything, like I said, it all fits. We don't have to have easements from the property next door. There's really no gimmies. These systems work. They
So
do.
I got a question. You say that it's down only 7 inches, but when we get a hard freeze, you know, you have to put stuff down 3 feet.
They don't freeze.
They don't freeze, even if the homeowner goes to Bermuda for a month and,
Once we put sewerage into them, the sewerage is actually heat,
it
it
generates
gives off
heat?
heat.
Okay,
It's exothermic, so, and what it does is it keeps the ground warm. The only time that they do freeze, we had one that we installed in the cold weather. And we had to prime the system with fresh water in the tanks, not sewerage. We never fire those off because those will freeze.
okay.
Once you get sewerage in there and the freezing just doesn't happen anymore.
That's interesting. Well, I learned something new today.
We've got actually, I think we've got a couple of them in town.
New Carroll Hill, was that
Carroll
the?
Hill.
Well, the Carroll Hill was the one we were going to put in, but they opted not to.
Oh, he never put that
He
in?
never put
No,
that.
he didn't.
It was too complex for him. For the engineer, the other engineer that took it over.
Murphy?
Yeah,
That was the apartments.
Yeah.
right. But I've got, I may have 8 or 10 of these. These are good for like, one of our local engineers built one on an island down at Webster Lake, same thing. These things are only 5/8 or 3/4 inch hoses. And what they have is they have weep holes in them with a clapper valve at the weep holes. And the clapper valve is on the inside. And what happens, the pumps, they charge the hoses blow up, closes the clappers. Once it reaches a certain pressure, the pumps shut off, and then the clappers start to relax. When they relax, the hoses start to weep. The lawn sucks up all the nutrients, and then the rest of it evaporates.
Go ahead.
And you
So-
don't get your ankles wet when you walk on it.
Mm.
What variances does this plan need?
The only thing that it needs is the offset to the well. That offset hasn't changed. He was trying to put a conventional system here on the same spot.
So that looks like 60-something feet there.
Right, that's exactly what it is, about 60 or 62 feet. And that's why we wanted to establish a baseline with the well test from Mr. Walsh's property. Once we do that, all it does is it protects Mr. Walsh. If for some reason this system causes sewerage to start showing up in his well, it's again just a baseline. There was a little bit of discussion about the preliminary plan that was presented, that was approved, but we had several flaws with it. The reason why we approved it so fast was because building code was changing, and we were asked to help out and get it approved as soon as possible, so that they could beat the deadline, that June 1st or July 1st change in the building code. As long as they had their permit in hand, the building permit, everything was gonna be okay. But then when we saw deficiencies, so I said, okay, I'll sit down with the engineer after and we'll figure out what we're gonna do and how we're gonna fix these. We'll make field changes, blah, 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 blah. And come to find out, there were so many things that really needed to be addressed. And timely, it weren't, the revisions and stuff weren't coming timely. So now I poured into it a little deeper to try to figure out what we could do here. We were doing other work all around it, and sure enough, we were hitting ledge everywhere, so I said, okay, we're putting a system in right now, we haven't tested, so let's test it, and sure enough, we hit ledge. So it kind of supported what we had to do, make some changes. We made some changes. The homeowners were a little concerned about some personal activities and then moving a shed and all of that, but in the long run, it worked out. Everything worked out. And now, like I said, we have a plan here it meets the code. Now the question, I guess there was another question about deed restriction and
Well, I
2-bedroom.
have a question,
Mhm.
but did we ever get the agreement to test this well?
We have the cards and the test results, yeah.
So you have the test results, so.
Yep, so
Okay.
it came in today.
It got tested?
It did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have a baseline for that, and the,
Yeah, they should be in
the
there.
green card came in?
Right, the green cards are all
I
in
think the
envelope.
only problem, if I may, Mr. Chairman, through, is that in their haste to help them out beat to July 1st, is approving a three-bedroom septic system allowed them to get a building permit to build a 3-bedroom house. But now, if you look at the specs, and John's following Title V to the T, is that now it doesn't allow them to have a 3-bedroom house because it doesn't fit because of the 10,000 square feet, and it's only a little less than 22,000 square feet for the lot. So now he's talking about deed restrictions about that it would be a 2-bedroom after we approved and they built a home for 3, correct?
Yeah, it's already built.
And it's already built. So
Uh-huh.
that's the situation there. Granted, the plan looks good, all that, and I'm glad for all that. It's certainly, I know they want to move in, but I think that's where Kurt called me down and he spoke to me about it, and that there wasn't a mistake done there. It was just, it didn't work out. Like Tom said, there had to be some adjustments. So I think that's what the issue we're having, because their septic system was a cesspool, correct? You have at your house?
Yes.
Yeah, and it was pre-existing, and you had 3 bedrooms in there originally, or you built an extra bedroom, correct?
We added an extra bedroom, yeah.
Yeah. But with
Because we
the
were.
blessing of the town.
Yeah, yeah, and the only reason why we're doing the septic over is because we added an extra bedroom.
So that's now, did they do this for nothing is what the question is, you know?
Well, I think we can all be in agreement that this system is gonna be a heck of a lot better than a cesspool.
I'm sure we have to do it over anyways.
Yeah.
The,
So,
But we
was
just found
they're
out this
gonna-
morning about the 2-bedroom deed restriction. I found out this morning, Eric found out last night.
So how would that work?
okay, this is, we'll start kind of from scratch. I took the liberty of.
We've done them, I have the paperwork for a deed restriction that the board can approve. It's all there.
Right.
I'm just saying that it's just a matter that they would have to know that they would have to publicly know that they have a 2-bedroom house. But I think their purpose, like you said, of doing the septic system's over because they added a bedroom. But now, they're gonna add the new septic system, but they're not getting the bedroom.
There is a way
Well,
to
it's
do
already
it.
there.
I understand. That's what the problem
So,
is, and I wanna make it clear.
okay, so, just so I've got it straight. So you would be living there with 3 bedrooms occupied, whatever.
Yeah,
And
there's
then-
4 people.
Yeah, so then when you sell, there would be a deed restriction, so the new buyer of your property, assuming everything stays the same, would then, when they go to buy the property, would say, actually, this has got a septic system designed for a 2-bedroom house.
think I was told that I have to list it as a 2-bedroom, but once someone comes and sees the house and sees that it's 3-bedroom, it'll be fine.
Yeah, okay, well, I don't know.
Can I ask a
Yeah,
question?
go ahead. Yeah.
Tom, in your opinion, this system that's designed, does it accommodate this house?
2-bedroom house, yes, it does.
Okay. I don't know if I'm answering the question, but
You asked.
it accommodates it if it's a
I
2-bedroom.
was not told that it was a 3-bedroom house, because if I was told it was a 3-bedroom house,
Mhm.
then we could design a system accordingly. We could have added, because of the limited space, we could have put a nitrogen denitrification system in it, which is, it's called a fast system. We put that in on a tank and we denitrify, we knock the nitrates down. And we can beat the state code. The state code says 10,000 square feet per bedroom. I can get it up to 15,000 square feet per bedroom. I mean, down to 7,000 or 6,500.
So let me ask this.
That's
This
possible.
test right now, this system is designed for this house, which is a 2-bedroom house.
2-bedroom house,
But it's not installed yet, it's only on paper.
that's correct.
So if the homeowner is concerned about the language of being a 2-bedroom house,
Mhm.
we could still have the house with the 3rd bedroom and design a system that would accommodate the 3rd bedroom.
We could.
So I think that comes down to,
Will it save us money? A 3-bedroom system.
Well, so it can't save you money, I'm sure it's
Yeah,
gonna cost more money,
cost
but.
more, and you're gonna lose more time too.
I
Re-engineering
don't know
the
how
things.
anything works on the money with the assessors, but I would think you would pay less on a 2-bedroom house than you would on a 3-bedroom
Yeah,
house.
I just didn't know if there was a different kind of system that would be different and save money. I don't know anything
Well,
about
that's
this.
up to
I don't know, that would come back to
Up
the
to your
engineer.
engineer and Tom to work that out.
Well, that's what we try to work out with the engineer. Again, there is a way to do it.
Do you want to call him? I can you call him. I'll just get him on speaker.
It's totally up to you.
He's not gonna take your call.
Who, the engineer?
If you look at the
Say
top,
after
it
dinner.
says 3-bedroom, 330 gallons. That's what.
I can get that, we can get that system designed up to 330. That's not a problem. We got a couple of, some real problems here. The real problems are,
No room.
you can't, this type of system you can't put under the driveway. You cannot put it under the driveway, because it's only that far below grade.
Yeah,
So it'll never happen that way.
So
Well,
that's
we-
why we have to move the shed. Or we'll actually have to tear it down. So instead of having it this way under my parents' driveway, we have to have it like this under the lawn.
What's that?
Instead of having it right here, we have to have it right here where the shed
What?
is, right?
Have what there?
System.
Leach field.
leach field.
You have a driveway that runs right over, right between the garage and your.
Right, that's my
proposed system.
question. That's the reason why we
I
can't
need
do
to
it
put
this,
in a
'cause-
bigger system. He would have to design a larger system, number one. Number two is he can meet the nitrate criteria by putting a fast system in, by putting it's an oxygenator is what it is. They put it in a septic tank and it treats the effluent so that the nitrate levels, instead of being at 10 parts per million, it's down to 5 parts per million. That meets Title V,
This is already pre-existing driveway?
yes. And there's a road here, a driveway here,
Yeah, it's
and a
our
drive-
land, but it's their driveway.
and a driveway here. This is all driveway. Matter of fact, I think
So I mean, this
I
looks
set
like
up
the
a
spot.
cover.
You can't even shift it over, you got maybe max 10 feet before we start infringing on the other well.
You want to try and call him?
I don't have his number. I'm texting Eric, but he's in a meeting.
Jim, sorry if I call her engineer?
Yeah, go ahead.
The blue is the driveways.
I'll
a
put it in
lot of
front of you,
paper.
John.
Yeah.
Put it in this,
Gosh, and I thought my house was bad with 2 driveways. Look at that.
Yeah.
All the blue is the driveway
Yeah. Well, this is.
and the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are parts of Baker Road dirt, gravel?
It's all dirt.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Baker Road and the driveway run right through our property.
so this driveway goes onto a different parcel.
Yeah, that's my parents right here.
Okay.
Zachary? Zachary?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, this is Jim Philbrook, Charlton Health Director. I have you on speakerphone at our Board of Health meeting, and we have your client here, and we're talking about the property, okay?
Okay, perfect.
So you're on. You can introduce yourself.
Yep, for the record, my name is Zachary Bless. I'm from Existing Grade, the design engineer for the site, working on the septic system. And yeah, I mean, I guess the intent of the meeting tonight is to discuss some of the variances in the site where it stands to date. I had a chance to speak with the owner, and they would like to move forward with the drip right system that has been designed and submitted for Tom to review. The one where we have it kind of pushed up and off to the side, but the site with where the leach field is going to be is that we're going to need some variances in regards to the well offsets as required under Title V. Excuse me. And that's kind of where it was. I think we had designed the system to be a 3-bedroom system based upon understanding that the original building was a 3-bedroom system, and any modifications that were done was to not increase the bedroom count of the sites. That's why it was designed as a 3-bedroom system. I don't know if anything else we kind of discussed prior to me being on the phone. This is kind of the start of the meeting.
Zachary, I think that Tom has said that you designed a good plan, the drip right system, and he is approving that plan, but it's for the 2 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And he's happy with the plan, correct, Tom?
That's correct. And one of the things, if I may, Mr. Chairman, is to, what Zachary and I did, we discussed the possibility of making it a 3-bedroom septic system if we were to add a fast system or a denitrification system, and it would meet the criteria for Title V. Am I correct, Zach?
Yes, I have no problem doing the revision to these plans and putting in a microfast one on 0.5 denitrification units, which reduces the nitrogen loading for the site and allows that lot to withstand a 3-bedroom design.
And nothing else would change as far as the site of the drip right system or anything else? It would just be adding this additional,
Basically, a pre-treatment deal.
the pre-treatment system?
The field itself would be 50% bigger, but there's enough room.
There is enough room.
There's enough room to do that.
Okay.
So,
I think the question she had was about the cost,
Yeah.
upgrading to that. Is it annually, or does the cost increase as this thing gets bigger?
As far as the cost on the leach field itself is minimal. The cost of the components, I'm not quite sure what the cost of a microfast system is, the unit. I know it's a matter of probably a few $1,000s.
I think if I could, in some of the sites that we've done recently, we've done a few on the Cape where we've had to put these in, we're getting estimates of just a few thousand for that system itself.
is it a maintenance nightmare?
No, that's usually, what is it, Matt? I mean, Zach, once a year, they do an inspection
Yes.
on it?
Who has to
There's just
do?
an inspection once a year on those.
And that's from the installer, It's
The
not-
manufacturer.
manufacturer?
Or
We have to sign a
distributor.
contract with the company.
You have to have a
Speak with us.
contract. When you buy it, when you buy the product, you're gonna buy the product from the distributor.
Okay.
The distributor we'll then have you authorize or sign a contract that says that they will come back once a year and do the inspection, make sure the system's working, make any adjustments that need to be done.
What's the cost on that?
From what I understand, it's like $700 or $800 a year. That's about it.
The thing is, in my opinion, that inspection is probably well worth it, because if the system fails, we're basically squeezing a system in a spot where it doesn't belong, more than likely. And if we are able to get that system in, at least if it starts to fail, they will catch it sooner than later before it becomes a real problem.
These systems are great for taking a potentially unbuildable lot and making it buildable. We've salvaged an awful lot of lots by using these systems. Matter of fact, they're doing them down the Cape now with their denitrification requirements and their nitrogen loading. So these are not just a fly-by-night small operation.
Yes, ma'am.
So I guess my question is to you, Tom, then. This system here, 2 bedrooms, you're okay with this, where it'd be a green light if the homeowner wants to install it. If this isn't good for a 2-bedroom, and this one comes with a deed restriction, if we don't go with this one, it goes back on the table for a 3-bedroom one, which is probably now sounding like it's doable. And as long as you're good with it, then there's no deed restriction. But then that becomes your choice of if you want to go that route or not. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, I would tell you right now, if, Zach, how quickly could you modify this plan to add a fast system to it?
I mean, it's a simple detail add. I can have this into you on Thursday morning.
There you go. So we can probably get it all set up in a week.
So you get it set up in a week, their family decides which system they want to spend the money on and go for.
Right.
And with that being said, from this board, what do we have for variances? The one variance on the well?
It's the well, and that's it.
And we already approved that with the last one, conditionally.
Right, we
Conditionally.
conditionally approved it based on
Right.
receiving a well test.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you're all set.
And the well test, Tom, is in there if you
Yep.
came in today, so.
If we
Like-
end up going with the 3-bedroom one, can we get the 2 deed restriction off our deed?
Right,
Absolutely.
yes.
Yep, that would be the whole reason.
No deed restriction.
There'll be no
There'll
deed
be no deed
restriction.
restriction.
so if
Not
you
on there
wanna-
yet, is it?
You wanna sell in
I
30
don't know, I don't
years,
even
you're
know
good.
No, I
anything
don't-
about it.
I don't think it's been done yet.
No.
No,
No.
there is no current deed restriction.
No.
This would be a proposal. as
It would be like it never happened,
Oh, okay.
just like that cleanup company.
So,
Like it never happened.
I mean, I'm probably out of line here, but this system would probably accommodate 4, 5 people without fail, because they tend to go overkill on these systems to begin with.
That's what my septic guy said.
So, you know, but it's the language, like you're saying, down the road.
Yeah.
Do you want
Do
to
you
be
wanna-
restricted to
right.
that? And, you know, so, but that's a decision that you would make. But, and, you know, I think a lot of it comes down to the household's habits. You know, you washing laundry every single day, 2 or 3 times a day, or never, or, you know, so, I mean,
2 or 3 times a day.
yeah, so, you know, if that's the case, then the system's probably gonna see some pretty good usage. Maybe the right thing is to just go with the 3-bedroom and be done with it, but that's.
How much bigger is the leach field?
Say 25% bigger?
It'll be
50%,
about
50%?
50% bigger, but there's still enough room.
I know, but I
What
mean,
we'd end
for
up
us
having
splitters,
to
it's just
do
gonna
is
be, it's a
Instead
big
of the
job
con-
for them. It's getting bigger and bigger
Instead
now.
of the 10-foot offset to the property line, we'd probably get or 5-foot offset. We could get it down to 0, just notify, again, the abutter, whoever the abutter is, notify them that we're making it bigger here. We got a little bit of, hey, if we got a saw cut, that's actually,
So like, I.
there's still enough room on the driveway side too, to make it that 50% bigger, so.
Real quick, so I did look at that prior to this meeting, just on my computer, and the system, I'd be able to do, I need 500 linear feet of piping to fit a 3-bedroom system with the perk rate over there. The pipes as they're laid out now are spacing 18 inches apart in that field on the plan. I would be able to reduce that down to 12 inches, which is the minimum allowable for the system.
Right.
And the system itself would end up going to about 16 feet wide as opposed to the 13 as it's shown right now. Just by taking those pipes and putting them closer together in that leach field, so it would not be a drastic width change that would be going on there.
Yeah, only
It's just
3
you would
feet.
now have to add 3 more runs.
It's doable.
Yeah.
Well, how important is that 2-bedroom thing to you? I mean, you know,
The deed thing is not important at all, because it's a lake house, it will sell for top dollar.
well then,
But, I mean, I'm just worried about if the system can't handle
right.
4 people.
Yeah.
And I don't have the knowledge to answer
Well, a
that question.
3-bedroom system is meant to handle up to 6 people. Conventional.
And a 2-bedroom is meant to handle
4.
4.
It's 2 people per
There we
bedroom,
go.
typically.
I imagine we're probably gonna go with this, but I mean, I can't give you that answer right now. I just
We
have to
don't
talk to my
even need the
husband.
answer. We don't
Okay.
need the answer.
Yeah, it's strictly up
This,
to you.
this board's
Yeah,
out of
that's-
it. It's gonna be between
It's up to you.
the engineer, you, and Tom, whatever, because everything's all approved from our side.
Okay. Okay.
You're smiling.
Just wanna
Well,
move in my
at least you
house.
got you got a path to a resolution here, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And this is something that could go in, obviously you wanna get this done long before the ground starts freezing, so.
Yeah.
I know your husband, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yeah.
And your husband's been calling, you've been calling. Are you guys ready to move in, I assume? And how long is this gonna take, Tom, to be installed? Are you gonna get it in this season?
I don't have any control over the installer.
Yeah,
As
he's
far as-
ready to go when this is
For
approved.
them
just
to
saying
do
for
this,
them.
Yeah.
to install this,
A week?
a week or 2 weeks, depending, you got people that are gonna schedule. See, these people that distribute the product, the tubing and all that stuff, they physically come out here and help the conventional installer install the system. They make sure everything is all plugged in, they fire the system off to make sure that it's working the way it's supposed to work. So the whole process, I mean, for them to install the system, once they get going, it's only a couple of days. A couple of days to install the system. They gotta do the tanks, and they gotta have some wiring. So you have to have the electrician, the installer, the distributor, all at the site at the same time. And it's a 1-day project, and they get it all, 1-day or 2-day project.
They're gonna get the tanks in with the ledge?
That's why we have to call rock splitters, and they have to do a lot of work. Even our whole house is ledge.
Well, we used to get Charlton Well when he had his blasting permit. But, yeah, I mean, it's doable.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of ripping. Awful lot of ripping and hammering that's gotta be done, but, yeah, I think we can get him in.
So, it sounds like we don't need to do anything else for approval or anything. It sounds like you're good to go, once you and your husband decide which avenue to take, and then
So we're probably good with
All you have to do is tell your
Yeah.
engineer what.
Oh, sorry, Zach.
Yeah.
Is
Was
it
that?
two bedroom or 3-bedroom? Tell your engineer which way
Yeah.
you wanna go and.
Zach, someone will be in touch with you which way they wanna go, and you'll deal with Tom, and you guys can work it out and design the.
I'll work with.
You already designed a good plan. I think the additions will be up to you and Tom and
Yeah.
to deal with. So, but thank you.
Okay, absolutely. We'll definitely keep the Board of Health informed as we move forward with this.
As we always do. All right. Thanks, Zach, and hope you feel better.
thanks,
I
Zach.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
And you're still smiling, so that's
Yeah.
good.
I always
She came
smile.
in smiling.
It's just, how I live.
We want to see you smiling.
Good.
Yeah.
We know you've been through a lot, so certainly we're trying to help you out here, and the board is. I think you probably feel better now that all you have to do is
Yeah.
make a decision, I guess.
Yeah.
If you choose to go with what you're going with, Tom's already approved that plan, I believe, correct?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna,
With the 2-bedroom with the deed.
Two-bedroom.
And I did find the
Yeah.
paperwork with the deed restriction that you'll give to you, and you'd have to go and file it.
Okay, yeah.
right. Yeah, Title V says if you have a 2-bedroom system like that, you set it at 220, you must have a deed restriction.
I found the paperwork
So,
today
like-
for.
And
Which we know isn't gonna change anything for you.
Yeah.
You're gonna do whatever. So.
Yeah.
you said, there's no bedroom police, we're not gonna go in and count bedrooms.
Well, if you have two
What
people,
happens
you
is
put
if
them
you
in the
do
same
that-
room, what's the difference? We'll put one in one room, one in the other, right? There's still
Yeah.
4 people.
Yeah, I guess I kind of feel lucky that you guys didn't
Well,
catch that, that we actually got to build the 3-bedroom.
Well, it's not like Tom
Which one is
said,
dead?
and is trying to do his due diligence to help you. This is what happened, and here we are. But he gets plans approved quicker than any other municipality that you'd ever want to work with, because you'd find yourself waiting till next year if it was anywhere else.
Yep.
And that's the truth. Tom,
Well, Shannon, good luck.
Thank you.
And if there's any questions, this guy is probably your
Jim's
contact.
great.
Yeah,
All right.
that's why we keep him around.
All right, off to
Thank you,
football
Shannon.
practice.
Football practice, it's almost, well, it's
I
7
know,
o'clock.
he's in 2nd grade, 5:30 to 7:30. Right up the
Wow,
road.
oh, you can pick him up, well, good, he won't be
Yeah.
late.
Lights are on.
Eric's one of the coaches. Yeah, they have lights there.
Fortress Hill.
Thank you.
Get a new
Have a
shed,
good night.
right?
Good luck with your system and your house.
Oh,
and-
on top.
That looks nice down
Take care.
Looks nice down there.
job down there.
Thanks for coming in, Tom.
Thank you for having me in.
Well,
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom.
I think she feels better, and
Yeah,
it's good.
that's the main thing, so,
There was a resolution to it.
yeah. All right, ready to move on?
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
I all
We
set?
have one problem in 5,000 systems?
Yeah, that's about it, once in a while.
Bump in the road. I have them all the time.
Tom, thank you for
Thank you.
coming in on short notice.
We'll see you tomorrow or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
take that file, Andrew, come after me. You still got the, yeah, that's ours.
That's yours too,
Should be making me go to your house.
Yeah.
heaven forbid. I'll sleep the dog on you. Okay, see you later.
See
you, Tom.
Take care.
All right, any other business unknown at the time of posting? Hearing nothing, we'll move on to
You forgot to add department head report in here.
yeah, I didn't forget it. I'm looking for it, I don't see it. That's why I said department head reports.
You left me out. I didn't even say anything, right? You all set, Mr. Chairman? Want me to go
Yeah,
ahead?
yeah, go ahead.
As you know, we did get another shipment, so if the residents need COVID test kits, we do have I did get another lot of 600.
Are these different?
They're just not outdated.
Yeah, okay.
So we do have them hand out a lot lately. They're free in the Board of Health. We have also our needle collection system is almost doubled to the point where a lot of people are on medications and Ozempic and diabetic medications, and we collect them as we need to, and that's increased exponentially. So, as you know, we did apply for the office. We're building myself a little office in that corner. We'll rearrange this desk mat and board. As you remember, it used to be over there. It's probably going to go back over there next to the windows if we can fit it.
Are you getting new carpet?
No, you know how much it would cost to get carpet in here?
You know what it's gonna cost if somebody trips and breaks a leg on that carpet?
Yeah, I do, because I almost trip myself every day. It's we're gonna try and see if we can
Stretch it?
Yeah, you stretch it.
re-stretch it once we get the stuff. But with these desks that we had from, I think Cox Engineering donated these a while ago, including this desk when they closed this business. But the carpeting, they know that James Burlingame now is head of the building and maintenance stuff. He knows that we need new carpeting, we need new windows. They don't close.
I'm just saying, it's a public office where the general public can come in, never mind the employees.
Well,
that work
actually,
there.
they can't come in now because of the security issues, and we like to be more open to the regular people, but that's why every place, they're all installing windows in every single, for security issues.
I just don't think the carpet's folded up like that.
No, it's not good. If I was
It's
in my
not
own
good.
home, I wouldn't have it. It would drive me
I
crazy.
wouldn't have it either.
But again, it would cost a lot.
It's a lot to re-stretch it and,
Well, I'm gonna try and see if we can re-stretch it, but it's been glued down in certain areas because it ripped, and then they shot glue in there, so it making it very hard to.
Stretch it.
It's old, so a lot of wear and tear. But best thing to do would probably put a floating floor on top of it or something.
didn't you get a grant for the office work?
Yes, but we're very tight with the money.
It's
with this.
tight.
And the carpeting alone would probably cost, I don't know, 12, 15 grand. For the
Really?
carpet, yeah. Oh yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I just did my basement, $7,500. Mhm.
I couldn't imagine.
My 2 bedrooms are an estimate at my home are $6,000 and they're small bedrooms, just for carpeting.
Really?
Yeah. So this is commercial rated carpet. I don't know what, but anyway, that's something they have on the list to put up. I think just we're gonna take 10 feet by 12 feet over there, and the office will definitely be rearranged. But it's driving everyone crazy because it's a little disorganized. But we did put this up for Andrea, so she has some clothes in. But she'll be moving over to where the desk used to be here. Remember, it should be over here now. So we're just trying to get more room because we've gone paperless now, and we have the plotter printing gets a lot of use now. So foot plans and stuff like that are brought in. So, and we are on the permanized system, which we can see everything. That's how we communicate. When we approve and we have a septic and we approve a plan, then building already knows and they can look and check and proceed on, and we have to check it off. So
I did 6th grade in this room right here.
probably the same carpet.
Probably was the same carpet. I was looking for my name on the wall, but I didn't see it. I was well behaved.
But that'll start the 28th of this month. That room, and it'll only take a few days.
Okay.
And the girls, we're going to buy paint, and the girls want to paint the office, so we're going to all paint it together on a Friday afternoon. We'll come in and paint it a different color, clean it up and spruce it, and take those blinds down that are all broken, and they want to do something because they like the light coming in anyway. But we try and keep the office clean. They're very good at keeping it organized and clean. But as you can see, all the cabinets are gone. They went. Highway came last Friday. I met him here, and we took them all out, and they've gone into. I think they're posted on for the town if people can buy them or whatever, or they're going in for metal for scrapping.
So what happened to all the copies of plans and whatever else you had in those
They're
cabinets?
scanned.
I know, but then you just shred or big bonfire.
No, they're shredded,
Yeah.
and there's a chain of custody, and they're shredded and destroyed.
But I wanted my septic plan for my house. I'm just kidding.
We have it, we can print it out, it's just not an old dusty copy, that's all. We have everything. So they did complete that. That was quite the process, but it's all online. So if you come in here and you click on septic, it's all by street. We have every plan in there and everything's scanned in. So in order for it to go paperless, it's a tough thing to do. I like to have a piece of paper in my hand to see, and a lot of people, but we do print out the plans and if someone needs one to give it to them. So remember before it was 6 plans, and the files are this thick, and we had no more room. So we trim that down. All you need is the as-built in the end. You know, once it's done, you just keep it for record. So, but that's
We still taking sand slips?
yeah.
And what are we doing with those? Just confirm
They're just
that it's legit and
confirmed and scanned in. Yep.
Then, oh, they get scanned in?
Yep. All of that information. We're not losing any information that we have. Everything is still scanned in. So
It's a lot of work.
it is.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but it's a little scary. But we do everything. Even the inspections are done on tablets. So there's no more paper. I have to take a tablet out and do that. But that's the way the state has gone. Everyone has gone paperless and done. It assists you to everyone be consistent in trying to find it. But you still need to know the code. So if you don't, it'll take you forever and you can't finish it. We found some flaws during housing inspections that we've had adjusted and they have to correct. But it's certainly it's helpful because the records are there. And anyone, I can review them. If I send someone on inspection, I can actually check their work and make sure that things are done right. So, but it's a good thing. It's progress. I did also receive a grant from DEP. It's called the Purple Airflex sensors. We received 10 of them. We're going to receive them. And what they do is they sense the air that's around. And people will be able to see what is in the air and check those. They're just for general information, but we did receive 10. We were part of the grant. They were limited. There was only so many. I didn't think we'd get 10, but we did. So those will be coming soon.
So what do they do? Like interior, exterior?
Exterior, they'll be outside.
So like, just say when we had the haze from the smoke from Canada, you could
Yep.
go out and maybe monitor something like that? Or?
No, they'd be stationary, and they'd be, you have to be powered and plugged in, and you'd be able to go, we'll have them at the library, the schools, the town hall, DPW, you know, the highway, wherever the 10 decide that even the board, if you want one in a specific place, we could put one there. It'll just tell you the air quality. People don't realize that the particulates and the pollen and they think it's fresh air. Well, that's why people have allergies but it just gives you a way of sensing. It's really just informational for the public.
Yeah.
So Jim, who's gonna be installing these and where are they gonna be installed? To be determined.
Good question. To be determined.
To be determined for.
I just found out today that we received them. So
Okay. The reason why I ask is because it says written instructions for installation and operation of the air sensors can be found at, and then they give a government website. And a video tutorial is also available at, where else, YouTube. So that's interesting, but.
I'll work with Jim Burlingame in the town and the highway with Nick and stuff to see what
Where it makes the most sense.
where it makes the most sense. And
Yeah.
we need power, of course,
Yeah.
and to plug them in. But I applied. I didn't think we'd get it. We did, and here we go. But I think it's just general information. People like to know, and sometimes you take for granted. Do you think that? And it'll tell you what's in the air. You know, it's just for informational purposes, educational. The schools would be great. Kids can
Put one
look.
in the bathroom.
That wouldn't be a good idea.
No.
They're meant for outside.
Maybe at some of the schools.
They will be at the schools.
Yeah.
As long as the school, you know, they approve it. But I think it's good for the kids to go out and look and learn about air quality. I think it's important. Like Matt said, look at the fires from Canada, how they affected. We had smoke here.
Oh yeah, it was awful. Ugh.
But other than that, we're moving forward. Working hard, doing the schools. Off to Thursday to Overlook. Overlook now provides 2 days a week food for our seniors.
Oh, nice.
So they're getting well-balanced meals from Overlook, which is a great thing. And it was my suggestion to Andrew that we, because people that were working in the kitchen were having trouble keeping staff and having trouble getting quality meals. And what better than Overlook was rated, you know, the best long-term care or rehab facility in Massachusetts. So, and they throw away a lot of food. So they were willing to step up for, you know, minimal cost, and it worked out. So 2 days a week they supply food for downstairs for the seniors.
I wonder if Bay Path would do a program like that.
The thing is, they're off during
Yeah,
summers
it's
and
not
vacations,
consistent.
so it makes there's too much inconsistency. Not that they wouldn't probably help out in times. They've had many times for when they have birthdays and cakes for down there. They're always, you know, doing stuff for downstairs. But it's just the time off thing, Matt. That
Yeah, I see it.
and where the kitchen at Overlook, there's 3 of them, is they're you fill out paperwork and they could adjust your meal to your dietary needs. If you're diabetic, you certainly don't want certain foods. If you're bland, low sodium, dietetic, you know, stuff like that, they'll actually adjust to you. If you have any allergies, you know, there's a lot of gluten, stuff like that. They'll be able to adjust your meal to meet your needs.
Here for our seniors?
But downstairs, yeah. So when you order your meal, if you fill out a piece of paperwork that this is what for, you know, Jon Snow likes, that he can't have, and he's allergic to this, they'll adjust it to that.
So then he would come and then they would have a meal just for him.
They'll deliver it right here, and
Say this is
yep.
the meal. Huh, that's
Gosh.
interesting.
That's great.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
And you can't take, you know, you think you can prepare meals, but they may be good. What's good for one person is not good for another.
Oh, yeah, I
So-
get that.
And trying to keep staffing downstairs with the gentleman retiring and stuff is very difficult. So if someone calls out, who's cooking? You know, you have to hire backups and, you know, people are stepping up to cook. But I think it's important that we provide well-balanced meals for the seniors. And the new senior center director is doing a great job, so
That's
we're
great.
willing to, I'm glad they went that way. So it's a good thing. So other than that, I'm working with Gary on certain issues, you know, with the landfill. Certainly, that filtration system is an added cost, so we're trying to keep the numbers, but I don't think it's gonna cost that much extra for Gary to check while he's doing, like you said, that house to, you know, kind of.
Check a couple of them, not just one.
No, I think there should be 4 or 5, to be honest, to get a well-rounded
Just to
number.
get a feel for, is it
Mhm.
coming
Sure.
out of the system, or is it?
Because we had a house that tested well below the 20 parts per trillion, for, 4 quarters, and all of a sudden, now it's way above, and we're putting a filtration system in. What changed,
Somebody want to put a new water tank in or something.
You never know, right? So I think, and I think it's well worth trying to find out and resolve the, because I get calls when Ready Fresh doesn't deliver the water. I get phone calls on Fridays, left and right. Are you the water guy? Where's my water? No, I'm not the water guy. I'm the health department. Certainly, I'll call Ready Fresh. The guy called out sick, so they had to wait a day. Panic.
So, just on that water delivery, how locked in are we with this Ready Fresh? Do we have a contract with them that we look
Yeah.
at every so often?
They're very, very good as far as pricing, and there's really, as far as competition, there's no one that can even compete. There's no one else around to do something like that. And most of them already had Ready Fresh and were getting water delivered.
The reason why I ask is at the Woodstock Fair, I came across a water supplier, and they're in Enfield, Somers, Connecticut,
Yeah.
Willimantic area. And so I just asked, do you service like Charlton, Massachusetts? And they're like, yeah, it's a little bit far out of our range. And I said, oh, would you do it for an entire town? That was a whole different conversation. If they thought that there was a contract where they were going to be providing, like this town needs the municipal buildings and X amount of, then they were willing to have that discussion. So I didn't know what the deal is. It's, throw the business, is that through Andrew or is it through you, or who actually is the hiring for that?
For that,
For the Ready
we
Fresh.
already had a contract through the town, so they were the low bid for the town, so that's what we have. So you have to, in that case, we went with them because they are already servicing most of the houses. They service the town hall already. They service us. It's not like there's, a huge amount of people that can deliver that. It's going to get very difficult come this winter with some of the driveways. He's already told me that he's going to have difficulty getting those large things up some of the driveways. So
Are they the same company when we were working up on Berry Corner and H-Foot? Were they the ones delivering them? Or was that a different vendor?
I think it was a different vendor, but I believe they were bought out by Ready Fresh, bought Poland Springs and all that. So they're the delivery portal. Guy's great, does great. They do a great job. They're very, in touch with Andrea. Andrea's constantly, as things change, and making adjustments. Some people, hey, I'm having a party. I ran out of water, and they're calling me at home. It's like, well, then go buy something.
Right.
I can't. We can't. I can go. I'm very helpful, but there's a time when you have to say, well,
Yeah.
guess what?
And that's not what this is. We're trying to provide,
Supplemental water.
supplemental water, but this isn't hey, we're having
No.
a party, I need 10
And
extra
if they
things.
lived on the other end of Charlton and weren't near the landfill,
Right.
it would be potable water and drinkable, but they don't understand that. But it's mandated by DEP, so we're trying to get them to loosen up, and they just won't do it. So,
DEP won't listen up.
nope.
Not yet.
That's why I want them to do that test.
I agree.
I agree too.
Mhm.
So I'll make sure that
Might be
Gary
chasing
does
our
do
tails,
it.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't forget that the board has requested, by Mr. Chairman and the board, that you reach out to at least 2 or 3 homes in that area that are higher and pull that cap if you have to. He's worried about bleaching it because once you open it, he's got to, it's a
That's
little
all right,
longer for
bleach
him.
it.
So, but I don't think that's a big issue.
How much bleach? A gallon?
No, God, no.
Half a gallon?
Cup?
Quart maybe, tops.
Probably a
quart?
quart, yeah. And just run it for what, half hour?
Should rinse the casing now, that's very important. That's why we always use tablets. You buy
He's
these
the
little
expert.
3/8 tablets.
Yeah.
What, just drop them in? And that's it, it's done?
Use liquid, you gotta rinse the casing because it corrodes the hell out of the
I
casing.
see what you're saying. So if you threw a bleach tablet in there, then it's a done deal.
Mm.
That's the way to go.
So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, then let's decide when our next meeting will be. Not voting day or night or whatever. Because that's about 4 weeks from now, isn't it?
Is that
November
this one where it says election?
Here,
Fifth?
November
Oh.
4th is election?
November 5th, yeah, that's
Fifth?
1, 2, 3, that's 4 weeks from now. Election. So we don't want to do it then.
I can't believe we're going into November. Jeez.
Yeah,
So we can go till 29th or the 12th?
yeah, 29th or the 12th.
Oh,
Do we
we
have
can-
anything? Do we need to meet in
Or
3
we could
weeks?
go election night and just sit here and wonder what's going on.
You know, we could.
I'm very nervous about those. But I don't think we're going to. I don't think there's anything pressing that you need to do it right then, but it's up to the board.
What you do is we take the room when you guys
Get
are
the big
painting
TV.
it, and you put this half red, and you put that half blue, and then when we come in on the 5th, you get to pick your seat.
And then the fight starts.
I think we'll paint it a neutral
Yeah,
color.
Can we go 5 weeks? I guess is the
You're
question.
the chairman.
Why don't we do 5 weeks?
I'm good with that.
I mean, if something comes up, I'm around. I'm not gonna be.
Believe me, if something comes up, you'll be hearing from me.
No, November 12th. 12/12.
I didn't hear about this meeting until today, this afternoon.
She's,
What?
I didn't know about this meeting until this afternoon.
she emailed you, everyone.
She did not email me until today.
Yeah, but we did talk about it last meeting. That's how I knew. I didn't get anything. I just knew that we had said 4 weeks or whatever.
That's why-
I didn't think it was etched in stone when the next meeting was.
No, I thought it was.
Well, it's gonna be etched in stone right now, so write it down. You guys are gonna make it.
That's why I'm writing this down.
And
'Cause
I
I put
always-
it on my work
I
calendar
usually
too.
call Jim and just confirm or shoot him a
I
text.
don't want to talk to Jim.
I talked to your wife. It was a pleasant conversation.
All right, so November 12th at 6 o'clock. Next meeting.
November 12th. That's my father's birthday. I can remember that.
And bring him along
Yeah.
as your birthday gift to your dad. He can come bring,
Sit in the big chair.
sit in the big chair.
All
throw it
right.
out.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned 7/18, we'll call it.